We good?
Welcome to the MCAG meeting of January 19th. Would anybody like to volunteer for invocation? Please come forward.
Our Father in heaven, we humbly bow our heads and we give you thanks for this beautiful day. Thank you, Lord, for the rain that you provided. Thank you for the gift of life. We ask that you would bless these members with wisdom, Lord, that they would make the right decisions for this community, for the county, for the cities. And thank you for this beautiful community. And continue, Lord, to bless us and continue to help us all make the right decisions, not only now, but for the future as well. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Can we please stand for Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have roll call, please?
Director Kale?
Here.
Director Reed?
Here.
Director Ford?
Here.
Director Lewis? Director Serrato?
Here.
Director Pacheco? Director Pedroso?
Here.
Director McDaniel? Director Pereira? Director Silvera? Vice Chair Samra?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Moving on to public comment. Public comments are available in advance or during the meeting. Does anybody wish to make a public comment at this time? Did anybody submit anything in writing for public comment? All right, thank you. We'll move on to reports and presentations. Caltrans?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Is this on?
No, it's not on.
It is.
It is? I just need
Okay, so that's not on. And this is on.
Can you try tapping, see if we hear it?
test.
We hear it, but it's not loud.
Very low.
I don't know how.
There it goes. Hey, you got it.
Real
Whoa.
close. It's kind of finicky. Okay. All right. We'll make it work.
That's better. I can hear you now.
Yeah, we can hear you. Thank you.
All right. A couple of statewide announcements. The first one is from the California State Transportation Agency, CalSTA. They announced a new joint effort for two of its departments, DMV and CHP, to curb excessive speeding and prevent deadly crashes. So, point of reference, each month CHP officers issue about 1,600 citations to drivers caught speeding more than 100 miles per hour. In 2024 alone, CHP issued more than 18,000 of these citations. CHP recently deployed a new fleet of low-profile specialty-marked patrol cars in the state's busiest and highest-risk roads. Speeding remains a major factor in traffic deaths statewide, contributing to 32% of all fatalities. So DMV will monitor the program and hopefully use the data and compare statistics and reduce the amount of crashes and incidences on the freeway.
Caleb, sorry to interrupt your flow, but can you just introduce yourself, just because we have a couple board members that may not know you?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
That's all right. My name is Caleb Brock, Caltrans District 10. I'm the Deputy District Director for Planning, Local Assistance, and Environmental Support, and I frequent the meeting monthly here to represent Caltrans District 10. All right, the second item is earlier this month, Caltrans announced major steps in strengthening its commitment to public transportation by establishing a new Deputy Director for Transit and Rail Programs and restoring the Division of Mass Transportation to create a dedicated team focused on providing faster, more reliable and connected transit services statewide. The department also will be releasing its first holistic director's policy on transit to support more coordinated and efficient transit and rail services along the state highway system and ultimately improving connections to millions of Californians. Couple of announcements from our regional planning team. So we recently processed quarter 2 invoice for fiscal year 25-26, and a friendly reminder that the draft OWP for 26-27 is due February 27th. A few local traffic advisory and activity announcements. In April or early May, I-580 in Tracy, the traffic will be reduced to 1 lane in each direction. This is caused by the westbound bridge over crossing of the railroad has emergency repairs that need to be done. We're still waiting for the railroad to approve the finalization. And then once that is done, then we will be announcing which weekend. So it'll be a full weekend and the Monday morning and evening commute. There'll be electronic signs trying to get people off that section and utilize 205 and I-5. And our public information folks will be putting out a lot of information so that people know well in advance. Maintenance update. Every first and third Thursday of the month, there's litter cleanup. Posting on the 19th for encampments and clearing on the 23rd and 24th for Merced, Atwater, and Livingston. And then on the encampments, so District 10 resumed operations the week of January 26th to remove encampments at the locations in Merced County. So there was 3 in Livingston, 1 in Atwater, and 12 in Merced. And then a couple follow-up items from last month. So we appreciate the presentation that was done regarding Dos Palos. And now those sites are on our radar. Last month, Caltrans met with the county as well as Ms. Guzman to talk about the Dos Palos Y and the Azusa 33. And we're taking a holistic look about how we can make mobility better and more safer in that intersection. And then also the director indicated that the community's number one concern was the Christian Avenue crossing. So that's on our radar too, and there's kind of 2 different groups of folks in the district that would be looking at those. So both those are on our radar, and we'll be working towards solutions on both those fronts. As I mentioned previously, I'll be bringing the project management office chief, Charlie Doe, to talk. He'll be giving a presentation next month regarding the projects going on in Merced County, and he'll be coming back quarterly. So next month as well as June. So any project update questions that you guys have, he'll be the best person to address those. And then lastly,
Just 1 second. I think Supervisor Director Pedroso is saying he can't hear him. Is that correct? Just 1 second.
If you're not speaking into the microphone, it's really hard. It's like in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Supervisor or Director Pedroso, there appears to be an issue with the mic that I think we've alerted staff, but I don't know that, because it's also popping a little bit. So we'll try to mitigate that as much as we can. I think staff is.
So I can hear you guys just fine.
Okay. So the county staff just let us know that it's turned up as much as it can. So we will.
Do we have a portable mic?
It's fine. I'm trying. So if you hear me, see me like looking.
Yeah, why don't we use that?
Yeah, we're going to turn off the podium mic and use handheld, because it does seem to be the podium mic in particular.
Thank you.
Yeah.
okay, is that better? Okay. And then lastly, I know the MCAG team is aware of this, but Caltrans puts on this event called Transportation Planning Academy. We used to have it 2 times a year, and there was a lot more opportunity for external folks to join. But next week, it'll be only the 3rd in-person Transportation Planning Academy that we've put on in the last 6 years. And of the 45 folks that are going, 5 of them are external, and we were able to nominate 2 folks within our district. So one planner from TCTC in Tuolumne County, as well as Xinyu Hu, who's the planner at MCAG. So 5 of the externals are able to go, and we got 2 from our district and 1 from MCAG staff. So very excited that we're able to incorporate MCAG staff who will get connected with planners throughout the state. So great opportunity. So happy about that. But that concludes my report. Happy to take any questions or issues back to the district.
Board, any questions for Caltrans?
Good.
Thank you. Caleb, I just need some clarification on the 580 closure. Would that be 580 north going towards Tracy, and you have that overpass that takes you on to Altamont? Is that the area that you're talking about?
It's kind of in the middle of 580 between I-5 and 205. Specifically, it's between Patterson Road and Coral Hollow.
Okay, so will drivers still be able to access 580 at all, or is that going to be closed altogether?
They will. It will only be one lane in each direction during that section.
Okay.
And if we get enough word out, the delay may be 30 minutes, but it could be, that there's a lot of cars that transverse that area. And so hopefully over the weekend and into the Monday, we can mitigate that by putting out enough information for folks to use.
So that's starting this weekend?
No, we're still waiting for the railroad. So
Okay,
it's April to early May. We're really hoping to get it done before Memorial Day because the traffic patterns shift a lot after that. So we're just kind of waiting on the railroad.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the clarification.
Anyone else? Mr. Serrato?
Thank you, Vice Chair Sammer. 2 questions, both brought to me by constituents regarding signage on 99. One, both southbound 99. So southbound 99 at 16th Street, near the new Welcome to Merced Gateway Monument. There's a big sign there for, I think, the R Street and V Street exit, which some people have complained kind of blocks the Welcome to Merced sign. So I'll follow up via email, but the potential, and if the answer is no, the answer is no. One, the potential for moving that so people have better, so it just accentuates the sign better. That was a Caltrans grant that helped pay for that sign. Makes it just to improve the attractiveness a little bit. And then second, continuing southbound 99 near Campus Parkway, better signage southbound for the Campus Parkway Mission exit as well. I've heard some complaints that there's inadequate signage there for that exit, but I haven't, there's a couple complaints, but I'll follow up via email and do it.
Yeah, we definitely look into it.
Thank you very much.
Anyone else? I just have one, Caleb, I've recently received some complaints in Livingston area. There's unhoused individuals on Caltrans property, and they're saying that they feel that people are just throwing litter everywhere and doing all that. So I'm not sure what the procedure is for you folks they're pretty much in town on Caltrans property, and they're jumping over the fence doing all that. They've actually posted photos of the individual. So just to bring it to your attention.
Yeah. Do you have the specific site, or I can follow up with you?
Yeah. You can contact the city. I'll make sure they have the address. It's basically it's on Main Street actually. The one there. And if you need any assistance from the city, we'd be more than happy to work with you folks.
Yeah, I'll have our folks contact you.
All right.
Your people.
Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you. Okay, next we have a presentation from City of Los Banos, the Pioneer Project presentation.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. The internet is down in this building.
Oh, internet is down?
Here. So we're just going to check on that.
So just for clarification, we can continue with the meeting, but we cannot take action until Zoom is up. So we can continue with the information items, the presentation?
Is that okay with the board? Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, please. Thank you.
Love our advanced technology.
Is that why we lost Supervisor Pedrosa? But we still have a quorum.
It's
so-
the building.
Yeah, it's not Zoom, it's
The building.
here.
yeah.
it's here. We can still see he's on the Zoom, and I've alerted him that we're working to get it back up.
So we can still continue even with the Supervisor Director Pedrosa offline?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
Let's continue for the moment with presentations. I'm going to double check that we can continue with the meeting while Zoom is down, as long as we don't take action. I'm not positive about the answer on that, but let's continue with let's start the presentation. We'll go.
Thank you. Proceed.
Good afternoon, Board of Directors. Thank you for having me. It's the last time I was here was about 3 years ago presenting the exact same projects. So now that 3 years has passed by, I think you guys are probably anxious to see what progress and things has been done for this project. It is one of the larger projects for the West Side. So again, I want to introduce myself, and it's been some time. My name is Niran Tan. I'm the City Manager for City of Los Banos. And with me today, we also have our new Public Work Director. He's actually been with the city for quite some time. His name is William Vai. He's taken over Public Work at the moment. So with that,
sorry, Niran, I don't want to be disrespectful. I know we're chattering up here, so.
Yeah, I was advised by staff that AT&T connection is down, so we need to pause the meeting just for a little bit until legal give us advice.
We want to make sure we give you our full attention, and right now I know that the three of us are very distracted, and I know how distracting that can be. So, if you don't mind.
they can make the Zoom work.
Is there anybody in the audience that would like to sing a song to entertain us? Maybe a 2-minute comedy skit? No? Okay.
Maybe,
Public shows are okay too.
yeah. Maybe we can bring up another prayer. I don't know. Okay, folks, it is now 3:34, and we're back in session. I believe we can go ahead and go back to Los Banos with their presentation. Sorry for the delay, technical difficulties sometimes.
Uh-oh.
There it goes. Yes.
Testing. There we go. Good afternoon, board. I'm going to redo the introduction again because I completely lost my composure now. I don't know where I started, where I stopped the last time, but good afternoon. My name is Nir Anton, City Manager for City of Los Banos. And with me, we have our Public Work Director, William Bai, as well, who's going to be helping us going through the progression of this. As previously mentioned, I was here a couple years ago, and now that's 3 years has gone by. We definitely want to give you some substantial update on what the project, where the project is, where are we going with it, and what are the next steps. We are very excited to present to you today on some of the completions and establishment that we have. First, for this presentation, the objective of the project has not changed. It will remain a regional project for the community. I know last time when I came here, we have a project name change to the Pioneer Complete Streets, but rest assured that it will remain as a regional project, and it will assist in increasing capacity to accommodate some of the bypass traffic that it was a result of the congestions on Highway 152. And I think that was what I'm allowed to say. I will turn that over to Williams now to complete the rest of the presentations.
Thank you, Niran. So Niran's much more well-versed in this project than I am, so he's going to stick around and help me out just in case I stumble somewhere. Maybe now this one's not working. There we go. So this is, those of you who aren't aware and haven't seen this project before, basically it starts at Pacheco Boulevard, Highway 152, depending on where you start. I'm going to start on the west end, right near the Los Banos Creek. And then it'll go through future development down to Pioneer Road, and then Pioneer Road will connect all the way out at full build out all the way to Ward Road, and then Ward Road back up to Pacheco Boulevard at the existing intersection. And then all the intersections, not all the intersections, most of the major intersections along the way will be improved to accommodate the traffic. So phase one was a concept development. Right now we're in phase two, the environmental documents. And then we have detailed design coming next, and then construction will be phase four. The process, so this is kind of the process of how we got to where we're at. So the concept development was the concept design, a preliminary environmental analysis report, equivalent, or a preliminary environmental study form. Right now we're in the environmental document phase that has the preliminary design and then the technical studies, and we have another slide coming up that'll go more in depth into the technical studies. And then the environmental impact report and environmental assessments are part of the phase that we're in now. Okay, here we go. So here the technical studies consists of the cultural studies, natural environmental studies, initial site assessment, and the air quality study is what we're working on right now, is the air quality study. And then there's a noise study, community impact assessment, visual impact assessment, and the traffic study. And the traffic study's been done, and it forecasts out to 2045, which is how far out our general plan goes. So we've already studied the traffic impacts and the traffic volumes that will be occurring all the way out to 2045. And in that traffic analysis, it doesn't call for a full 4-lane sections along the route, forecasted all the way out to 2045. Originally, one of the concepts was to have 4 lanes all along Pioneer, but the traffic counts don't really call for that, the traffic study. So it'll be 2 lanes, as you can see here in the blue is 2 lanes. And then there's a 4-lane section, just a small 4-lane section from Mercy Springs to, is that Center, right around Center? I forget the name of that new road that comes out there. But and the reason that that's a 4-lane section, because there's a bridge there that crosses over the Central California Irrigation District Canal that needs to be upgraded now. So when we do that, when we have to replace the bridge, we're just going to replace the bridge with a 4-lane bridge, because eventually it's going to need to be a 4-lane bridge. I don't know if I hit something or what's going on here, but maybe it caught up for all those clicks that I was clicking on it. Here we go. So there's some turn pockets there too, and then but the major thing about that one 4-lane section is the bridge, and the thing about that is the right of way is gonna be purchased, and it'll be part of the initial development for the 2-lane. So it'll exist for when it does need to go to a 4-lane. Maybe I need to stop shaking my hand around so much. I'm not sure. Oh, okay. So when it comes time that it does need to be a 4-lane through the whole portion from one end all the way to the next, the right of way will be there. So it'll be a much simpler process of adding that other lane on each side than developing the whole thing. Most of the work will be done. It'll just be widening each side to accommodate another lane. So it'll be built for the future, for future expansion once we get this project done. So this another slide for the technical studies, and it kind of shows you where we're at right now, is the air quality study. And the air quality is, there's an interagency consultation meeting was held in December 2024. It was consistent with our RTIP and FTIP, fiscally constrained project, and the recommendation that we received from there was to segment the project delivery and then program funds for segment 1. So these are the segments that we have. I thought we had these numbered. Maybe it's the next slide. Let's just go to there. So these are the segments where the first segment, starting on the west on the left of the screen, the first segment is there. The green portion that you see, the Pioneer Ortigalita Road, we got another slide coming up. That's currently in construction and slated to be complete next month, March 10th. By March 10th it's PG&E is holding us up now, so we're waiting on that. So each one of these segments, it's basically every 3 years the plan is to deliver one of these segments. And it starts with, as I mentioned, on the west side there, the green portion is going to be done. Then the next section, 2036, will be the little darker pink sections, and then that will connect the first segment with the current project that's being built, and then go all the way out to basically where that 4-lane section will begin once that's constructed. 2023 is slated for the Pioneer Road Mercy Springs intersection improvements. That's a pretty busy intersection as it is now. And then here are some of the other segments. One of the farthest out segments is you see the kind of bluish gray portion down in the bottom right corner. There's currently no road there. It's a dirt road there now, but that will allow us to connect all the way out to Ward Road to basically the current easterly edge of the city, and then go to that existing intersection at Ward Road and Pacheco, and there's some shopping and things around there that also connects out to the Pacheco High School a little bit further to the north. So it's going to basically give us a loop around the bottom portion of the city. So these are the pictures of the current project. The Pioneer and Ortigalita Road intersection is signalized. The signals are up. It's currently a 4-way stop. As I mentioned, we're waiting for PG&E for that connection. We've got left turn pockets. We've got portions of a 10-foot multi-use path. We did some stormwater improvements, some water line improvements. So it's a pretty complex project. And from this view, the picture on the right, you can see the county maintenance yard, that building on the right of the right picture, that's the county maintenance yard. So that's the intersection we're talking about. Along with this project, there's some improvements to the entrance and the parking lot of that county maintenance yard. So the next steps are to incorporate the segments into the 2026 RTP, update the traffic and air quality studies, complete the draft environmental documents, get some Caltrans permitting, and then program construction funds for each one of the segments. Oh, I thought we had one more slide. Sure.
Directors, and just to summarize a little bit of that too, you all knows the environmental process usually take a very long time, especially for this kind of projects. And since 2022, we've been putting a lot of resources on the onboard over three different consultants, separate environmentals, right-of-way, and design. Even though it's not shown on it, our design for the entire segment has been in place. We're pretty much closer to 30% on a lot of those things. All the lane layout as well as intersection connection has already been drawn up in AutoCAD and be ready to go. The only thing that was really holding us up was back in 2024 when we provide the environmental quality to the interagency review for air quality that got held up because they wanted the project to be broken out by segment. The rest of the other environmental document, including biological resource, cultural resources, all of those are complete. So we're hoping that with the RTP coming up here in 2026 update, we can accommodate those comments that we receive from the IAC, break the projects up into the segment that they want us to be delivering at, bring that back to them, and then get that entire document clear. At that point, the text document, the text study itself, will go to a public comment period and will be going to an adoption. Once those adoptions done, each one of those spaces will then go into construction. So as you can see in the map earlier, it's a pretty aggressive schedule. The west side of the creeks is shown that is going to be open in 2030. That will provide you over 4 miles of connections bypass for 152 itself. The overall length of the project is about 6 miles. So that's what we're working on. And again, we're hoping that by next month when the project complete, we can invite all of you to a ribbon cutting so you can see the actual scopes and the massive size of these projects when it's fully built out. So thank you.
Does the board have any questions? Anybody? I know it's just information, but just in case. Okay.
I just would like to make one comment, Mr. Chair. And I'm sorry if it was said earlier, but with the commotion, I might have missed it. But the importance of having this presentation and following this project, it's one, of course, it's a measure regional project for the west side, but it also it's in a class in and of itself in the sense that the board created the Pioneer Road. Actually, I think it's called the Pioneer Road Widening Policy. We'll need to talk about that, but that this board established several years ago that directs several discretionary funding sources that come through this body to this project. So because of that, there's an additional layer of, I'll say oversight for lack of a better word, or interest as an MCAG body on this project, different than any of the other Measure V regional projects. And since that policy was established well before several of our current board members were here, just wanted to add that clarification. Thank you both.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to item 5. This is the information items. Does the board have any questions on any item? This is information only. If not, then we'll move on to consent calendar. Okay, all consent calendar items will be enacted by one vote. Just so for clarification, Director Pedroso is no longer online, so we can call for a single vote if needed. Okay, so we have a consent calendar, and all items, like I said, it will be enacted with one vote unless specifically removed for a separate consideration by a member of the board, or member of the staff, or member of the public. Does anybody wish to pull any item for separate discussion? A board, anybody wish to? Anybody online that wish to pull this item on for discussion? If not, then I will entertain a motion at this time.
Mr. Chair, Supervisor Pedroso has rejoined us.
Okay, can we make that note? And then he has his hand up, so can we?
We're getting him live. One moment.
Okay, we're gonna hold off on the vote just for a moment. It's okay.
Supervisor Pedroso, or Director Pedroso, can you hear us? Okay, excellent.
Director Pedroso, I know due to technical difficulties, you were offline for a bit. We're on a consent calendar at this time, and I'm asking if anybody has any items they wish to pull for discussion. Do you have any? If not, then if no one has any items to pull for discussion, we have a motion, and I believe we have a second.
Yes.
May I have a roll call vote, please?
Sorry, who made the motion? Director Reed and Director Kale with this.
Yes.
Thank you. Director Kale?
Yes.
Director Reed? Yes. Director Ford? Yes. Director Lewis?
Yes.
Director Serrato?
Yes.
Director Pedroso?
Yes.
Vice Chair Samra?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay. Okay, we're going to the MCAG action item. This is item number 7A. And this, item A, this is the approved Measure V programming for 2025 implementation plan. Stacy?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I thank you, staff, Michael, for having these recommendations. I'll go to the east side first and then the west side. This item is step one of having a draft implementation plan for Measure V. This is the 2025 implementation plan. We are at the end of our typical update process, where what we're looking at today are recommendations for programming on the east and west side for Measure V regional project funding through the year 2930. And this recommendation is the product of several iterations, several meetings with the jurisdiction staff, MCAG staff over the summer, and then the East and West Side Regional Projects Committees at the beginning of January. So what this action is requesting is that this board, as per the expenditure plan approved by Merced County voters in 2016, the process is that the recommendation for programming the regional funding start from the regional project committees to the MCAG governing board for approval. The governing board options are to approve as recommended or to send it back to the to the respective committee of which it came from. The MCAG governing board cannot make changes to it. So it's a wholesale approval or rejection and back to the committee. And then once these East and West programming documents are approved today, they are included as they are in the next item, which is the draft implementation plan. So what you see before you is summarized. If you're saying, okay, well, what are the differences in, what are the new programming items that are in the document? It would be in your agenda packet starting on page 143. There's a summary for the east side, and as you can see in summary, that for the city of Atwater, there are no new any new or changes to their existing programming. For the city of Livingston, there was a request for additional funding for the Winton Parkway project. And there are two new projects being proposed included in the recommendation. That's the North Main Street Rehab Project for design and construction and the Main and Davis Signal Reconfiguration Project. I'll mention for both of these, and that's a PSR. I'll mention that for both of these, in the staff report, there's also a discussion around the regional eligibility for these two projects. And the result from the committee as part of that process was a request that the amounts being programmed are less. I'm going to get this wrong now that I can't find it. Is it 10%? Yes, less 10% of what's being requested, with the expectation that the city would be bringing that 10% for those requests as a local match. So that's what's reflected in both the document that's on screen as well as in the summary. For the city of Merced, there were 3 requests, all for existing projects. So there was a decision to move funding that was dedicated already to the Highway 59 widening project, to move those over to the Black Rascal project, the bridge replacement project, in addition with a request of an additional $4 million, and then some additional funding for right-of-way for the Mission Avenue. So for Merced, 3 existing projects, the Black Rascal Bridge being prioritized and being the recipient of some funds moved from their Highway 59 widening, in addition to some additional funding, and then $1 million for right-of-way for the Mission Avenue. For the county, there was 1 new request, which was for Santa Fe rehabilitation from basically the city of Merced to the county, to the city of Merced line to the city of Atwater. And it's $2.8 million for all phases of the project. You may recall that this project is being added in the current fiscal year because it was the recipient of the LPP funds that staff recommended that need to be programmed now, and will be going to the CTC next month. I believe it's next month. So that initial request was actually cut in half as the opportunity to match the LPP funding that the board directed. I think that was in December. And then MCAG made the request to begin programming local matching funds for the State Route 99 projects, the Atwater and Merced projects. As you've heard from Caltrans a few times now, those project initiation documents are being updated and should be available to us by, I think, June is the date. We will then know how we'll be able to phase those projects, and it'll be important that we have some ability to have local match, and that is represented with a $4 million request in the latest year of 2930 as a local match. For the west side, if we could go to the next recommendation, or the next side, there you go, thank you. There was, let's see, for the city of Gustine, there was, actually, let me start. City of Dos Palace, there were no new funding requests for any of their existing projects. For the city of Gustine, there was a request to reduce funding for the Highway 33-140 signalization because the study indicated it was not warranted. And so there was an introduction of a new project, the East Hunt and Sullivan Road Rehab Project, that would be the recipient of those funds moved away from the 33-140 with an additional 1.23. That's right. That didn't sound right when it came out of my mouth. In new funding, and that also there was some discussion on the regionality of that project, but it actually is a connection from 140 to 33, and actually is kind of instead of going through the city of Gustine, you can kind of circumvent that by taking these other local roads. For the city of Los Banos, there were 3 requests, all for existing projects. A reduction for the 152 and I Street because Caltrans was going to be bringing the funds to, or that project's going to be involved in a broader Caltrans project, or maybe the Caltrans bringing the funding, I can't remember. But that project was being worked in partnership with Caltrans. So a reallocation of those funds to their priority project, which is the 165 Vineyard and Dove project, and then the 165 Scripps intersection also being reduced, and those funds being moved over to prioritize the 165 and Dove. And then for the county, there were no new requests, but one for additional funding for the Hunt Road Rehab Project, which is an existing project, and a request to increase the scope with an additional $600,000 to be able to continue the project that was existing over to to 33. So I know I kind of ran through that, but I thought it was important to highlight exactly how the jurisdictional requests came out. They're reflected in the tables on your screen, which is how they'll be included in the draft implementation plan. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. I will open this up to the public at this time. Does anybody in the public have any questions, remarks? Not seeing anybody come forward. Anybody online? If not, then just because he's on remote, Director Pedrosa, do you have any comments?
Yeah, I when this comes up to a vote, I still have concerns about the regional projects in Livingston, as was mentioned in my comments at our East Side Regional meeting. How much expenditure of Measure V funds has Livingston used, and what do they have available? I mean, this is just this overall. So I know this is regional versus like what they have and what they've received, but what do they have in the coffer, if you will?
For their regional allocations, or for all
together? Either regional or local, because what projects have they done local? Because some of the projects they're requesting, I haven't heard an argument that's suitable for a regional project yet, and it's very hard for me to vote anyway on this without sending it back to committee, or for us to really discuss it even further, because I just don't see the regional aspect of it.
I will need to pull up. I'll need a second to pull up. I don't have their expenditure report in front of me. I don't know if I don't want to put
that's fine.
Anybody on the spot, but I'll need a second because I don't know those. I don't want to misquote those numbers.
And that's fine. I just want people to, I want to go on record as to why, when it comes to voting on this, I am going to vote no, because I do not believe that the new projects that have been presented by the city of Livingston represent what this project is supposed to do for the region. And I think that if we're going to really expend projects for the region, we have to make sure that we're doing what we told the taxpayers we're going to do, even if there's a 10% give back from the city, if you will. But I just cannot support this, and that's it.
Thank you. Anybody on the board here have any comments? Yeah.
Go ahead. No. On the East Side Project Committee, we had a pretty robust discussion about that Livingston project. I know it got support coming out of the committee, and a number of folks, especially the county supervisors, aren't here today. I mean, I voted against it. I think I've had conversations since with Director Samra. I think, and certainly out of fairness, not having a full board, that's another thing. But I'm willing to. I think there's a variety of concerns, and Supervisor Pedrosa brought up some of them. First, in answering his question, Gurpal, you can certainly answer this better than I can, but the regional aspect of it, I mean, it's North Main Street, but which Main Street, typically the name Main Street, right? You wouldn't think it's regional because it's Main Street, but it's Livingston Cressy Road, so it comes to the east out of Livingston and connects Livingston with Cressy, so there's certainly that. Regional aspect. That's the regional argument for it. I think that's one concern. Another concern was, is as a lot of the regional projects, you know, we should do our best to be able to leverage funding. So are we, with this project, you know, being primarily a local project, are we able to leverage funding and find other funding sources? City of Livingston is willing to put in I believe a 10% match. And then third too, and Supervisor Pedroza brought it up well too, was the concern that Livingston's had a disproportionate share of projects awarded to it, which I think there's a decent argument there too. I believe it was something like 20% of the overall East Side projects, you know, despite having less than 10% of the population. So, but I tip my hat to Director Samra and everybody else for that. But I think those are the concerns. I think, you know, we had a good discussion on it. I think that occupied a significant amount of time on the East Side Project Committee. But at the end of the day, the committee, I believe, voted in favor. Was it 4-3? I think, if I'm not mistaken. And to support it and to support all the other ones as well. But I think too, you know, again too, there's an idea too. We've discussed it before, the tension between the big transformational projects, often new projects, which are big, expensive, splashy, you know, but potentially transformational, versus the maintenance projects, which are easier to implement, cheaper. You know, there's less of a potential splash about it, but at the same time, those are fixing roads is what, you know, our constituents want us to do. And so, you know, to what extent are we trying to do big new things versus just, you know, taking care of and maintaining what we got, which is a huge concern for our constituents. And this project does that. So,
Thank you.
Yeah, correct me if I missummarized anything, Paul, but
No, you didn't, Director Serrato. You did a great job. Thank you. Anybody else on the dais board have any questions? Okay, if not, then I will make a comment. As Director Serrato said, it was a robust discussion, and in order to move the project forward, city did step up and say we will contribute 10% to the project to make it fun, to make it feasible. I understand Director Pedroza's concerns, but as I said in the meeting and as Director Serrato said now, we beg to differ. Just because it's called Main Street doesn't mean it's really Main Street. You know, just not even a quarter mile, not even just a few blocks down, it becomes Livingston Cressy. Before those lights were removed, and you know, from Campbell through Hammett or through Wynn Parkway, folks come in, and that's how they go to Cressy. It connects with Highway 15 on the other end. That's how they come through. And then also, if anybody has eaten any kind of chicken lately or went to Chick-fil-A or anybody, that's where that food comes from. It is not only just a connectivity between residents, but it's also a very robust area that moves lots of product forward. And I can't think of any district here that does not have folks that work there. So everybody from every city goes to work there. Product moves, it creates jobs, it creates a tax base. Livingston is probably one of the one that contributes to one of the largest numbers to property tax that not only comes to Livingston, but also to the county and to everybody else. So it is regional, and that's how we say that's how we justify it. And I'm hoping that we will have the support of the board. Thank you. Anybody else wish to make a comment?
Director Pedroza has his hand up.
Director Pedroza, go ahead, please.
Yeah, so no, I totally understand, you know, saying Main Street and Belico Cressy, but it's also like saying Olive turns into Santa Fe, or, you know, G Street turns into Snelling Highway. And to use the Foster Farms argument, you can make the same argument about Childs and McLean Pacific in Merced County. So I think that the arguments don't, it's a stretch, right? And so everybody's traveling on these roads. And so when you're trying to make a regional argument about some of these developments, you know, that's a stretch of an argument to make, is just my sake. look, I recognize the fact that it's probably going to pass, which is fine. I just wanted to make it clear as to why I am a no on this.
He's running with pretty, oh, sorry.
I'm sorry?
No, I said, yeah, I mean, Supervisor Joint, obviously, without having the full board here, you're running on pretty thin, no margin for error. Just if I could, too, as well. And in response, I think Supervisor Pedroza makes a good point as well about other roads. And I think, for us cities with the regional projects, it's a little bit of a struggle because the regional projects kind of by definition are not in the cities as much. They're county-oriented projects for the most part. But I think, finding good options in the city, and we need to, frankly, in the city of Merced, I've been trying to push our guys, and I really want to push our guys to do better on, projects like this, be it 16th Street in the city of Merced, which is a state highway. It's Highway 59 for a good portion of it, or other parts as well. So we can just do better and find other projects, because there's certainly big needs for it as well. But we certainly have other currently existing roads that could use the help as well. So I thought, I know we had a good discussion at the board. I think it was close. For me, I was a no, but it was close. But just subsequent conversations with City of Livingston 1 and 2, just a desire for fairness, given that the board members who supported it aren't here. I think I'd support at this point.
Thank you.
Because if we send if we send it back, then the board's probably going to vote the same way, and then it's going to be.
But I don't think it's going to make any changes in difference anyway. So at this time, are there any other comments?
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of address what Director Serrato said. When you look at it, also the city also has connection issues with Mission Avenue, with the potential for to 59. 59 is actually MLK. So you have MLK that turns into 59 that goes to Mission, which you might have the potential for a new high-speed rail station over there. You have a park, a park that's going to be a recreational park, CP42, that's going to be there, or a center. Then you're going to have development out there, and yet that's more of a regional project to make an argument on than a quarter of a mile. And so that's my position on this. I think that when we're looking at it and saying, well, a lot of people are buying chicken. Okay, yeah, that happens, and they're coming from Foster Farms, and I get that aspect of it. But what I'm struggling to struggling to agree with is just the regionality of what it is that, how can we justify what the taxpayers voted on to make this a regional project? That's where my concern is. And it has nothing. I mean, I appreciate the fact that the city of Livingston stepped up to say 10%. I'm just having a hard time.
Thank you, Director Pedroza. And and again, I think it does. Idea of it should be that, does a project benefit more than one jurisdiction? And I would argue that it does benefit more than one jurisdiction. It doesn't just benefit Livingston, but it also, with a better roads, better connectivity, it also benefits Cressy, Bleecker, everybody that comes into that to go onto the freeway, because it is the closest place to go. And then also by your measure, and as Director Serrato just said, cities don't, just because a street is in the city doesn't mean it doesn't have regional aspects to it. Everything does to some point. Cities can't be an island of themselves, because otherwise only the county roads comply, or in your view. So I beg to differ and argue that it's kind of, I can see what you're saying, but I really, really believe that this right here, and just like other projects, there is a regional benefit.
No, and with all due respect, sir, excuse me, Mr. Chair, with all due respect, I'm not saying, I understand the city argument aspect of it. I was on the city council for 9 years, so I get the city argument of it. I'm looking at it, how you justify the regional aspect of it, because I can justify every single road within the city of Merced as a regional road, just like I can for any of the cities. So I'm having a hard time with that. That's all I'm saying.
No.
I just respectfully disagree. That's it.
No, and I fully respect your point of view, but it can also be, anything can be argued either way. I can simply say, well, a road somewhere else and the county doesn't come into Livingston, it does benefit us, so it's not regional. I mean, anybody can make any argument at any point, but if it connects more than one jurisdiction, and it does, I think that should count as a regional project.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a statement.
Yes, please.
Both these projects for East and West Side have already been hashed out at the various meetings, and the decision has been made. So at this time, I'd like to request that we call for the question.
Thank you. We have a call for the question. That closes our comment. Just before I call for the question, because of a discussion we had, I'm going to open up one more time for any public comment if there's anybody wish to come forward at this time again. Oh, you got to use the portable one. There you go.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Mr. Chair and fellow board members, thank you. My name is Jose Ramirez. I'm the city manager for the city of Livingston. And out of all due respect, with regards to Supervisor Pedroso, the definition for a regional project, again, because it's a little broad, as Chairman had shared, it can go either way. And then right after Olive, Livingston Cressy is then a county road. And so, we would be supportive of that particular road when that particular road needs to be addressed. And the overall, we actually have local support from Foster Farms as well. They made sure to communicate to us that they're supportive of this project.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else from the public at this time? If not, I will close the public comment. We do have a call for question. It's at this time, then I will entertain a motion.
Motion.
I have a motion, and do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Director Kale?
Yes.
Director Reed?
No.
Director Ford?
Yes.
Director Lewis?
Yes.
Director Serrato?
Yes.
Director Pedroso?
No.
Vice Chair Samra?
Yes.
Motion fails.
Motion failed.
Motion.
Two no's.
2 noes, 5 yeses. We don't have a quorum.
We don't have a quorum.
This item can come back to the board at a subsequent meeting. But the motion for today does fail. 6 affirmative votes would be required. A quorum is required for any motion to pass, a quorum of the board.
We need 6. Yeah, you need 6.
6,
Yeah,
okay.
that's the minimum for anything here, has to be passed by 6.
Yep.
Okay.
Back to the subcommittees.
I believe staff will take this back and bring this back to the board at a later date. Bring the implementation plan back to the board at a later date.
Okay, thank you.
Since the question is on the east side projects, can we approve the west side project?
No.
No, this item was agendized for a single action to approve the implementation plan as a whole.
So I just asked one point of clarification. So the expenditure plan that was approved by the voters says that if it is rejected, it goes back to the regional project committee. That's what the language says. So what I'm unclear of is, so I think though what I can do is I can for March bring back the west side, and the west side programming can be approved, but until the east side programming is approved, the document can't be released for public review. So either way, it's going to be held. So I will work very hard to get an east side meeting scheduled to still try to meet that March board meeting. So I didn't want to make that clarification, but it's very, very, very clear in the expenditure plan that it has to go back to the committee.
So, point of clarification, again, just to make sure, you're saying that you can put this back on the agenda to approve the west side and move that forward, and then you'll deal with the east side?
Yes, but there still will be the roadblock that we can only do one more step separately. So we can bring the west side programming document, this item, back next month, but until the east side is approved, the entire implementation plan can't move forward. So I will just to summarize, I will prepare to bring the items separately, east side and west side, in March. If the east side is ready, because I will need to call the east side programming committee or the east side regional projects committee to have that conversation. That recommendation will then need to come back to the board, hopefully in March. So for the east side folks, when you see my email, please respond promptly. Mr. Chair, and through council, I will need to then request that we not take the next item.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Then I'm not sure. Do we need to make a motion to continue or just move forward to? Okay, thank you. And we'll move on to item 7C. Mary Michael?
She's pulling double duty today.
I know.
Hello. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. This action item before you today is to appoint at least one member of the board to the 2026 Ana Maria Fuentes Scholarship Selection Committee. This is an annual item that comes before you every year. I believe most of you are familiar with it, so I won't belabor it, but this is the annual $1,000 scholarship we award to a Merced County high school senior for continuing their education in memory of a past MCAG employee. The selection committee will meet in March. It will require a few hours of your time, and then that recommendation of the committee will come back to the full board for approval at your April meeting. And in your staff report on page 174, you can see the in the discussion item, the directors that have participated in the past. Typically, we have one director, but it is possible to select more than one if there's more than one of you that are very enthusiastic about serving in this capacity. So happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Okay, board, any questions, comments?
I would like to do it again.
Perfect. Do we just need one person, or does anybody else wish to volunteer? I don't hear anything, so do we need to, so would anybody like to make a motion to appoint?
I'll move to appoint Director Reed.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. I do need to open this to the public. Anybody from the public wish to make a comment? Not as closed. May I have roll vote, please?
Dr.
Kale?
Good, Paul, if I could.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I'd be willing to help out too. That's okay.
So we have two folks. So who made the motion? Wish to amend your motion?
I'll add that to the motion.
Thank you.
I'll second his suggestion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. May I have roll vote, please?
Thank you. Director Kale?
Yes.
Director Reed?
Yes.
Director Ford?
Yes.
Director Lewis?
Yes.
Director Serrato?
Yes.
Director Pedroso?
Yes.
Vice Chair Samra?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. And going on to item D, this is to adopt a resolution determining that there are unmet transit needs. Elizabeth's already there. Elizabeth?
Mic's not working. Oh, it is working. But the light's red. Okay. Good afternoon, board. This is an item you'll see here annually regarding the unmet transit needs process. This is a process MCAG manages, usually starting in the fall. Per the State Transportation Development Act, it requires that MCAG does outreach throughout the county regarding transit needs, and we allow the residents to say what they need, what they're missing. We get a lot of requests for new service, go more places, more headways. We understand all of that. The comments are reviewed by MCAG staff, transit staff, and our Social Services Transportation Advisory Council. There's a high threshold for what we would consider required to be met by TJPA. They only have so much funding and et cetera. I mean, it's you guys are TJPA, but I have my MCAG hat on at the moment, reviewing these comments. So TJPA only has so much funding, and there aren't a lot of additions to service and things we can do. This year, in your packet, you'll see a whole list of the comments that we received from the public and what we discussed, responses from TJPA. This year, there are 4 items that are recommended to be considered unmet needs to essentially require TJPA to fulfill them or do their best to fulfill them the next fiscal year. I think 3 of them are related to bus stops. So I will just mention on TJPA's behalf, well, you guys already know this, but they're going to be working on an overall bus stop system assessment. But these were a couple that were brought to our attention by the public that they would like to see corrected, like within the next year or less. And you can see them on page 176. It's improvements on the G Street and Olive stop. There is a relocation of a bus stop at M and Olive, which they'll be working with the city because there could be right-of-way issues and location issues, so they'll work with the city on that. Improvements to stops in La Grande in general, signage, potentially shelters, things like that. And looking at getting to campus, the developing campus parkway area. So looking at how they could extend service out that way. So with your approval today, what would happen is that we would file with the state that these are the 4 determinations, the determination of 4 items that TJPA will need to correct or make progress on next fiscal year. Happy to take any questions.
Board, any questions? Director Pedroso, I know do you have any questions? Board, any other questions? If not, this item is open to the public. Does anybody in the public wish to make a comment? If not, then I'll entertain a motion at this time.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. May I have roll vote, please?
Director Kemp?
Yes.
Director Reed?
Yes.
Director Ford?
Yes.
Director Lewis?
Yes.
Director Serrato?
Yes.
Director Pedroso?
Yes.
Vice Chair Samra?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Item number 8 is a discussion item, transportation demand management study. Miss who? Miss, I'm trying to be formal here.
Hello, can everyone hear me? Okay. All right, good afternoon, directors. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the next item is to bring an update for the newly completed TDM study, and we're looking forward to seek feedbacks and comments from the dais as well. So I do have a little presentation prepared, so I'm hoping to take up maybe 5 minutes of your time so we can go over the key findings and some programmatic strategies that came out from the study. And I do want to mention that this study is completed in partnership with SJCOG, the San Joaquin Council of Governments. They are our counterparts at the San Joaquin County, and we also have Edith Verdine with us, so kindly spending her time with us today, just in case there's any Q&A come up. Okay, so next slide, please. Okay, just a little bit background of the TDM. So what is TDM? It stands for Transportation Demand Management, and it's a framework created by the FHWA with the goal to enhance air quality and also reduce congestion. So when we're thinking about demand, is really referring to the people's need to move around, to go to places, but by driving their car alone. So the core of this framework is to provide them alternative options, travel options, so that people can maybe have the options to bike and walk and van pooling to get to where they needed to be, so that we can step away from just driving our car. Because in the world of transportation, well, as some of you might already know, transportation is the leading sector that contribute to greenhouse gas emission. So as transportation planners, we're doing our part to help reduce greenhouse gas emission by encourage people to not only drive their car to get around. So this is the overall TDM framework. Next slide, please. So what do we have so far in the context of MCAG? We actually do have a legacy program called DIPS, and this program exists, I think, long before any of the planning staff had started their position here. And this is also interregional program that is jointly managed and developed with SGCOG. Next slide, please. So DIPS is really a program that stemmed from the TDM framework with some of the core services such as trip planning, wayfinding. It also offers incentives for van pooling and carpooling. It also have a really cool function that can provide you an emergency ride home. For example, if you get to work, your car broke down, and if you're already a member of DIPS, the DIPS program, you can request an emergency ride home. Oh, sorry, could you go back? Yes, and also as part of the planning development process, we're officially in part of the Norco Go network. So as you can see on the slides here, so Norco Go is a wayfinding app that's developed by the Sacramento Council of Governments, and it's just really good at providing trip information, help you plan your trips, and how to get to from point A to point B efficiently. Next slide, please. Okay, so the reason we wanted to conduct a TDM study is not to criticizing the existing DIPS program, but rather we acknowledge that DIPS program has a lot of really great potential. So while the local jurisdictions is helping us building all the infrastructure, all the built environment, and all the great projects, this is really to think about service delivery from the MCAG's perspective, how we can deliver more services to the resident here so they can have more options to travel around. So this is to help revitalize the DIPS program. Next slides, please. Okay, so now here's some key findings that might interest you. So from some of the modeling pieces, we have found that about 17% of the work trips both start and end within Merced County, just to show that it's really promising here to have some of like the van pooling trips organized within the county, because people go to work routinely, and that way it's really easy to tap into those people who are already coming into work regularly. We also found that we also was looking at some of the hotspots. So you can see that, so downtown Merced is the, I think, so we look at the origin and destination of the work trips just to understand people's commute pattern a little bit more. And we found that downtown Merced is one of the top origination spots, and then the top destinations are the Mercy Medical Hospital here in Merced, city of Merced, UC Merced, and also Foster Farms in Livingston. Next slide, please. So now looking at the recommendations of this DIPS program, I think I'm not going to go into details, but just quickly go over it. So it has 3 categories. The first one is marketing. We think that it would be really beneficial to just kind of get the words out, to let people know that this kind of resources exist so people can leverage more. So some of the really fun tools is, I think the consultants proposed to maybe even tap into influencer marketing so that, college students or young professional or working adults can just to know, these resources exist a bit more. And the next one, next category is key services. So this really to think about integrate some of the emerging trends, such as maybe we can use EV as some of the van pools and carpools. This way we can further help reducing the GHG emission. And sorry, could you go back one more? Yes. And so on the top row here, it says promote dynamic carpooling. This is so dynamic carpooling is really to think about if you order an Uber, a Lyft on a platform, and then you get paired up with random people who are also going to the destination that you're going to. I know that it is proposed as one of the strategy, but we do want to make a note here to proceed with caution, because we don't want to romanticizing carpooling here in Merced County. We understand that we don't have the population density as, San Francisco or LA. So we're really thinking of how can we provide carpooling services in like a rather rural context here in Merced County. And that's why we, I think a little bit more with providing incentives to employers, so the employees can leverage carpooling services to commute to work in that sense. And the next one, please. And the last one is to continue building partnership, whether that's with local jurisdictions or CBOs, just so that we can have great partnerships and continue just running this program and also letting people know that resource exists. Okay, last one. So the next steps is really to seek the board's guidance and feedbacks on some of the strategies proposed. And we wanted to understand maybe your reaction of this TDM plan before we move into the next stage of implementation. And if you have any questions on the operation, I think it will be kindly to answer that. And if there's any question related to funding, Elizabeth has kindly to accept to help me as well. So yeah, I'll that's all my presentation.
Thank you. Do we have anybody else? Who is this Edith?
Oh yeah, she's
Is with SJCOG.
Oh, just to help? Okay, I thought. Okay, board, does she need to make comment?
Does Edith need to, does she have anything to contribute, or is she just there for questions?
Edith, do you have any comments or anything to add?
Sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing. But my name is Edith. Edith Verdine, planner with SJCOG, and working with MCAG on this effort.
Thanks, Edith. You probably can hear me a little better.
Yes.
Okay, good. It was just we wanted to make sure before we started asking, giving any opportunity to ask questions, if there was anything else you wanted to add to Shunyi's presentation.
Okay, no, I think
okay.
Covered it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Board, any discussion, questions?
Yeah, I just like to say that was an awesome presentation. Very nice. Very well done.
For me, excuse me, for clarification, did she say SJCOG? So is that San Jose?
It's San Joaquin County.
San Joaquin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
San Jose.
Just wanted to make sure. I wasn't sure. Thank you.
Director Serrato.
Thank you, Chair Samra. One comment we've discussed, had discussions in the past, but our bus system and the kind of the tension between the more direct routes that cater to the choice riders versus the versus coverage when it comes to people who are transit dependent, and then kind of where it seems to be we're a little more oriented, at least with a lot of the local routes, towards the transit dependent, towards routes that emphasize coverage over efficiency. And I've, in talking to a number of folks, they'd be much more willing to ride transit if there's just more, easy frequency and just more direct routes, as opposed to, if you look at a lot of the City of Merced routes, they meander and they go kind of low. But the point is and Serenity have had those conversations for. I know she's put a lot of good thought into it too, but just how to, balance those better and potentially, we've had discussions about the T line, for example, and the T, as it goes through Delhi, kind of loops through Delhi, and there's a section of it where it loops halfway through Delhi, and Nav ran the numbers a while back, it picked up like 3 riders over the course of a year. And that was 5+ minutes off the ride. I don't know the exact numbers, but the ridership on kind of goes one way around Delhi and then back the other way, and then the ridership on the first part was essentially zero, and then kind of limited on the second part too. So how do we make our routes as efficient as possible to attract those choice riders who need, they want efficiency, they want the rides to be faster, but also still without sacrificing the coverage. So, big point. I know there's been a lot of up and
when I figure out how to balance those two, I think I will just be so secured in my job I could go anywhere.
Put you on the board of peace or something.
Yeah, that is the struggle, right? When we have a transit dependent population, but also want to have transit options for choice riders is exactly that, and it's a challenge. And also, as we go through our unmet transit needs process, we'll hear from parts of the community that may say, we need to stop here, or there's no service there. And so that's how often a route will change from what may be intended to be a more direct route. But when we go through the unmet transit needs process and there is an unmet transit need that has been found reasonable to meet, we have to try to find a way to adjust and to get to that neighborhood. And then, so then you start seeing, this route that, as you mentioned, Director Serrato, may end up not serving, or maybe the demand isn't there anymore. So, I think, one thing I learned very early on in this job with transit is that your system is in a constant state of evolution. It's about meeting the needs of riders, both the dependent and choice. And so we really appreciate the kind of feedback I know that you particularly have given as you've been a transit rider on our system to help make those efficiencies. So there's also a really good book that we've been trying to get it through our team called Human Transit that really says, as a board and as management of a transit system, you really have to decide what is your fundamental goal of your transit system. Is it to serve, is it coverage, or is it frequency or ridership? Yeah, is it coverage or ridership? And your systems are designed differently based on what your fundamental goal is. And so that's why I say if we can crack how to achieve both, we'll be probably some pretty popular people. But the really good comments, we appreciate that.
Yes, and can I also just add that I think Mayor Serrato, you also mentioned reliability. I think that's a big part as well, because part of the TDM framework is really to encourage people to drive less by providing them more travel options.
Mm-hmm.
But if those travel options is not reliable, then we see people, just being discouraged from it. So thank you for the comment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, and the reliability, I think the buses, at least my experience, is pretty close to the minute. For example, there's one stop in Livingston, kind of close to Hammond, and the T hits there at 20 after the hour. And if you're there at 29, forget it. You're not getting on that bus. So it's there to the minute. Sometimes. Several times.
Thank you for being a rider.
So But I think, that's that line, like the T, for example, that's an inner city route. That should prioritize efficiency. That needs to go Merced, Atwater, Livingston, and then get done. But then other routes too, maybe not as much. The Los Banos route, that getting folks back and forth from Merced to Los Banos is big. Planada, those ones faster.
Sorry, probably I'm not going to pontificate on transit but I did want to say that I know that as we look at the use of microtransit, it is not cheaper, but it has proven to be a tool on the west side in particular to help run those commuter routes that are just they're not express, but they are direct routes. That's a tool that we've looked at and will continue to explore for the east side communities to try to help make those commuter routes and those inner city routes a little bit more efficient. I look at Serenity and Mahdi and they're just like, oh gosh. Okay, good. I look at them to see how big of a hole I'm digging us, but thank you.
Okay, board, any other questions or discussion? If not, I do want to make a comment. I think I'm going to call Director Serrato our in-house expert.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you he's used the transit more than all of us combined, probably.
Mm-hmm.
So. But for me, I agree with them that, it's the frequency that people need. We need to make it not a service of the last resort, but a choice for primary use. And I think, and I know it's difficult because there's only so many dollars to make it work, but I've seen a lot of folks turn around and say, I want to use the bus, I'd rather not drive, but if I have to wait this long, by car I'm already there. So people do value their time as well, and we're in a rural area, and I get it. We're not New York where we can send a bus every few minutes. It just doesn't work out. But people, whether you're in New York, San Francisco, or Merced, Livingston, anywhere else, they value their time equally. It's what it takes. And I agree that we do need to move forward, try to do what we can to make the best we can. By all means, please. I bet she's getting low on battery.
I was going to say you can carpool or van pull. That's what Dibs is for. Yeah. That's all. If the bus doesn't work, don't drive yourself. Call Dibs and get it.
There you go.
Anybody knows van pools, it's the same, right?
I wonder who's part of that van pool.
Yeah, call this.
I wonder who's part of that. Wow.
I think the red light meant the battery was dying, so it might be dead.
We've been advised that the podium is working again.
Perfect.
Hopefully, we can get that going.
Try that now.
Hello?
Yep. We're going to go with that.
Yeah. And we may have to release some emergency funding for the county for batteries for their mics. Yeah. I'll bring a buck, So.
Wallets.
All right, thank you. And going to Transit Power Authority, Merced County.
It's a new Serenity.
Serenity. Oh,
I'm Nav today. Yeah.
You're Nav. Then you should be in Hawaii.
I'm not going to argue on that one.
All right, go ahead, please.
Okay, so this is an item to authorize the executive director to purchase a tandem 520 hydrogen fueling trailer from Biotech and enter into a service contract with Biotech for hydrogen delivery. As you all know, we have certain benchmarks that CARB has set out for transit and when we have to go zero emissions by 2040. According to our innovative clean transit plan that TJPA has gone through, we are best set up for a mixed fleet. We already have 9 battery electrics in our fleet, and they work well on our city routes. In Merced, in Atwater, they perform well. They go through regenerative braking. They're able to go through all day, serve the route all day. Do take a little bit longer to charge up than it takes to fuel a diesel bus. But on our inner city routes, they just really aren't as efficient as they need to be. So for that, we are looking at hydrogen for our inner city routes. We were approached, TJPA was approached by one of our bus vendors, Davy Coach, to participate in a hydrogen bus pilot, which has brought us to, we need to be able to fuel that bus if we're part of that pilot, which we're planning on being a part of the pilot. We will be seeing that bus in September, but we're trying to get the fuel and all that set up before that. So in July, we put out an RFP for a hydrogen fueling trailer. We got 5 responses back. You can see those on page 206 of your board packet. So Biotech was the top contender at a evaluation score of 92.44. The RFP was set up to provide TJPA the most flexibility. So it was either a purchase, lease of a trailer. Proposers could have just bid on the fuel delivery portion, allowing us to mix and match essentially and come up with the best option for TJPA. We ended up, again, Biotech had the best proposal for both the purchase of a trailer as well as their hydrogen delivery. So again, this is the trailer, which comes in at approximately $772,000, and then the fuel delivery along with all the permitting and training to go along with this so we can make sure that we are fueling as safely as possible. This trailer will be initially placed at our operations and maintenance facility on Wardrobe Road, but having the mobile trailer does allow us the flexibility to, once that facility the master plan is to have a hydrogen fueling station infrastructure installed at that facility. At that time, that trailer would be able to be moved to possibly the west side or, the Livingston area or somewhere else that maybe we could fuel a hydrogen bus and make sure that our routes are running as efficiently as possible. I think the west side is the most likely as things evolve. So if there are any questions, we are looking at a total contract of amount of, with a contingency of almost 1.6 million for the entirety of the contract. It is a 3-year fueling contract with 3 additional option years on top of that. If you are curious, on page 241 is the pricing for the fueling. You'll see that in year 1, we are looking at a $17.86 per kilogram of hydrogen. In year 2, the cost does go down to $12.99 per kilogram, and that's because initially we will be receiving the hydrogen from the Lindy, Ontario facility, so there's larger transportation costs aligned with that, and then it will be moving to a plant in Pittsburgh, so a little bit closer to us, so we see some of those costs go down. So, any questions? I will happily take them.
Board, any questions?
Over here.
Go ahead, please.
Mr. Chair. I'm just looking at the agenda and correct me if I'm not understanding this. It says that the project's not to exceed 1.4 million, but you said 1.6, so where did the difference come from?
There's a 10% contingency on top
Okay.
of that 1.4.
All right.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
it's
All right.
1.597.
Yep, and just for clarification, the agency policy gives the executive director the authority to exercise a 10% contingency on the board approved amount. So if the board approves not to exceed, the policy states that there's a contingency, so that when it comes to the board action, we do the actual contract amount, and then my authority is a contingency of 10%.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions from the board? Is Director Pedrosa still online, or did he drop off? Okay, thank you. Any other questions? This item is now open to the public. Does anybody wish to make a comment? Seeing no one coming forward, the item is now closed to the public. For me, I'm about to show my age here. I've been a strong proponent of public transit. Years and years ago, a couple of directors back, when Jess was here, I was one of the folks that was really asking to see if we can do some sort of summer free fare type thing, and I'm glad that it is still going and is working, and I think it's a great way to show folks, hey, this is what we can offer, this is what we have. And also, I'm also a strong proponent of alternative energy. We need to get away from fossil fuel, get away from others, and electric vehicles, hydrogen, others. Yeah, I know, I'm probably gonna hear it tomorrow, but hydrogen does cause pollution, but a lot less. There's a production cost of it based on where it's coming from, be it from natural gas or from other sources, but it is cleaner. It's not clean, but it's cleaner, so I am a strong proponent of it, and I'm glad that we're looking to do this, and I'm wholeheartedly in support of the project. So if there are any questions, I'll entertain a motion at this time.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a second. May I have a roll vote, please? Actually, we can do a one vote because thank you very much. All in favor of saying by saying aye?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Directors, and again, I'm going to make a plug for Human Transit. If you haven't read it, please do.
Okay. See, last but not least, Mr. Moore coming up. Mr. Moore, item 11A. Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon, board. I'm not going to try to lean into this too much. I think I can project enough. I've been doing this a long time. This first item is on page 242 of the agenda package, And this is actually a request to re-establish a committee that has actually been around for over 35 years. It dates back to the original solid waste implementation rules that California enacted in 1989.
Sorry, can you just move the mic to you because they can't, no, to you, because they can't pick it up on the recording.
Okay.
Yeah. Keep projecting though.
Keep projecting, yeah, okay. So basically, what we are doing is reestablish a committee. Every 5 years, Cal Recycle asks us to look at these plans. There are things that talk about the capacity of our landfills, the recycling and diversion programs that exist within the county and our jurisdictions. So that review is due again this year in 2026. In addition, we are working on our master plan study, which will have some proposed changes to our landfill facilities, and those all need to be recognized in our integrated waste management plan. So this is not an overnight process. The first ask is to reestablish the committee. We'll go out and recruit members. The committee actually has 9 members on it, 4 from the public, 4 from the hauling side of collections for waste, and 1 environmental expert specialist. And so we will recruit those folks. We'll come back to the board for the appointment, and then we'll move forward on the actions to review the plans and go through that process.
Thank you. This item is open to the public. Any comment? Not seeing anybody come forward. Item's not closed to the public. Board, any questions, suggestions, any discussion? Seeing no discussion, I will entertain a motion at this time.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? May I have, no, I'm sorry, we can still do this. I got to get used to it now. Okay, all in favor, sing by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. You're still next, so go ahead, please.
So here, next item is 11B. It's on page 246 of your agenda. This is an annual item we bring forward to you since about 3 years ago when we authorized our contract with Agriman for the processing of green waste organics at the Highway 59 landfill. Their contract has a clause that allows them to ask for a CPI increase each year. We've gone through that in prior years. Prior years, the CPI was 2.6% or 2.4%. This year, it actually came out to 3%. That is in your agenda package, both the calculation from Agriman and a printout of the CPI from the state's website. What that leads to is an increase in the tipping fee for yard trimmings from $56.62 per ton to $58.32 per ton, with the minimum charge increasing from $28 to $29, and an increase in the tipping fee for commingled organics, which is food waste, along with the yard trimmings, from $69.64 per ton to $71.72 per ton, with the minimum charge increasing from $35 to $36.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. This item is now open to the public. Anybody wish to make a comment? Seeing no one coming forward, item's now closed to the public. Board, any questions?
Yep.
Recommendations?
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Under reference, it includes Billy Wright, but you only mentioned Highway 59. So does this include Billy Wright as well?
This does include Billy Wright.
Okay.
The reason we keep the rates stabilized between the two sites is so that we don't encourage cross-county traffic. Somebody trying to drive to Merced from Los Banos to save $3 a ton on a
All right.
material.
Thank you. All right.
This doesn't apply to your jurisdictional hauler because they're bringing in the material themselves and taking it back out. This rate applies to any material that's brought in by Caltrans or Self-Haul or another agency.
Okay, board, any other questions, discussion, anything? If not, anybody like to make a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Second. Who made the second? Who do we give it to? Okay, Mr. Ford. Okay, okay, then we have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Other reports, Executive Director.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I realize we're minutes from 5, so I'm going to be quick, but I have 4 things. High-speed rail update. Just want to make the board aware that MCAG staff, along with the City of Merced and the County of Merced, have been meeting regularly with the High-Speed Rail Authority on their proposed relocation or exploration of the relocation of the downtown Merced station. We also had a regional rail committee, which included the cities of Atwater and Livingston, talking about the broader implications of the station relocation and also the new timelines, which are delayed for the ACE extension and the Amtrak realignment, which basically their schedules are many years out into the future with an undetermined date of when. It basically comes down to the funding, that they don't have the funding to make the extensions right now. So those things are ongoing, and we've been very active in those. I was actually able to attend a press conference with the governor's office that was down in Kern County as they announced the beginning of the track lane that will start by the end of this year. So just a lot happening around high-speed rail. For UC Merced Transit update, I think it was just last month that we had the UC part of the conversation here, as we've had a multi-year exploration and a pretty concentrated effort over the last year to build the UC services or some version of their services into our operations and maintenance contract, essentially having the bus take over those services for the UC. This has been a joint effort to make that project a reality, but unfortunately we were made aware since the last board meeting that there are issues within the UC system that are prohibiting them from being able to continue with the project. So that's just a long way to say we will not be including the UC system in our RFP that will be released just before summer, June. And we will continue to work with them to find opportunities to coexist in a more efficient way, but just for now we will not be does not look like we will be operating those. Actually, we will not be operating. I don't need to even be vague. We will not be operating their services anytime soon. The MCAG Academy, Community Academy, which this board authorized us to create following the dissolution of the Citizens Academy a couple years ago. We had our first meeting with the cohort. It's an excellent group of 13 people. Backgrounds very diverse. I mean, any way you can. I mean, it's just a great group of people from different professions and parts of the community, different parts of life, and what they're looking to get out of it. Very engaged. We had an excellent first day. I think it has really given us a good jump start on. I think really having an effective program that will be a much more meaningful way to engage our community than what we had. And then lastly, I'll mention that RWA, we have a household hazardous waste collection event. Actually, it's the city of Merced. City of Las Banas at the Las Banas Fairgrounds on March 7th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. I said at the Las Banas Fairgrounds, I think, 403 F Street. So March 7th. Parking lot of the Las Banas Fairgrounds. Thank you very much. 403 F Street on March 7th from 8 to 12. And those are my items, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Going on to Director's report. So we'll start out with Director Serrato.
Nothing from me, thank you.
Okay, Director Reed.
Nothing for me, thank you.
Director Ford.
Nothing from me.
Director Lewis.
Nothing.
Director Kale.
It was kind of quiet with that county here.
Kind of nice, isn't it? Oops, I shouldn't say that.
I didn't say that.
The County Association of Cities.
And I don't have anything either. We are in adjournment.